coming up on This Week Next Week. The Freedman slipper legacy continues as Mahuna was one of the last into the field, but the first home for trainer Michael Freedman. The youngest of the quartet of training brothers will drop by to relive his biggest success since going it alone and what other aims he has over the autumn.
Hello, I'm Ray Thomas and welcome to This Week Next Week. Corey Brown joins me after what was a sensational Golden Slipper day. Corey, such great competitive racing, a number of thrilling finishes, and I think we saw a couple of champions there on Saturday.
It's going to be hard to beat the race day, Ray. I know the champions are coming up and I don't know, it's just that there on the day. 5 Group 1s, all exciting finishes. It's going to be a hard day to beat, but looking forward to it. Exactly.
We've got 2 Group 1s this weekend, of course, the Tancred and the Vinery Stud, and then the championships at Royal Randwick. So plenty to look forward to. But let's look back on Slipper Days. So many highlights, and it all started in a listed race. How good, Corey, is Autumn Glow?
Yeah, Chris Waller's got his hands on some really nice fillies, but I think this one might have gone to the top. She was just great there on the weekend. Like we expected J-Mac to not have it handed to him, but he had to work. Tyler Schiller got stuck up underneath him and made him, give her a dig and get up and over, and then he lost the bridle at about the 500 metre mark, and I started to worry about it, but once he put her into full throttle, she was great through the line.
Motor, she kicked in. She's outstanding. Probably goes to the Arrowfield Sprint now, but we'll wait and see. It might be her last run for the autumn, but she's such an exciting filly. Well, here's a champion. There's absolutely no question about it now. Her name is Via Sistina, her 6th Group 1 in the Randvet Stakes, and she's just an absolute star.
She's a freak, and these races sometimes can be really hard races to ride, but everything went to script for everyone there. Everything just sort of fell into place. I don't know.
Lindeman's tried
what can
hard.
I say?
Yeah, we can't. Yeah. She's just too good. And I think if something challenges her, Corey, she digs deep and finds
more. Tyler said to me about Faulkner Park, he said, like if I'd done this, if I'd done that, I might have beaten her. And I said, mate, she was only in second gear. Yeah. So she's a freak. She's an absolute freak.
She'll go to the Queen Elizabeth Stakes on April 12, where she's already the favourite. And look, she's already horse of the year now, Corey, and it's just been great to watch her run so well all season. Here's Broadsiding in the Rose Hill Guineas, the first of these tight finishes. Swift Falcon trying hard, finished 3rd. Here's Aliana in the white cap getting out. What a finish, Corey.
Yeah, great finish. J-Mac wouldn't want this one over again. Aliana was obviously super unlucky. A terrific ride by J-Mac. Obviously, everyone was sort of umming and ahhing about where he was going to settle, but he strolled forward, he didn't rush forward, he just let the horse sort of take him there, settled outside lead going down to the first turn, and then obviously come back, landed in his usual spot, 1-1, but geez, a brave horse. Yeah. He's not the biggest of, strongest of colts, but his tenacity to win's great.
And that filly was great. Wherever she goes next, Aliana, whether it's the Oaks or the Derby, watch out. Here is the George Ryder Stakes, always one of the best races of the season. 11 runners, 10 individual Group 1 winners. The one that wasn't won the race. Gringotts for Tommy Berry. Great to see Tom back in the Group 1 winners.
Yeah, great to see Tommy back in the Group 1 circle, but the writing was on the wall. First up there, the way the horse ran through the line, and Tommy was so happy with his run. It's easy after the event to be tipping him, but he looked great in the yard. He was going to get that run that he needed. He was sort of buried away backing on the fence. Fangirl was probably the run of the race. She was outstanding there on the weekend. She had everything go wrong that could have possibly gone wrong, and she still only got beaten a lip. So, and Che Wolf was great. I thought he was strong through the line.
Che Wolf big time. He's right on track. Here is the Golden Slipper, and it's always a race of sensations. It did early when Within the Law fell. Fortunately, hit both Within the Law and jockey Jason Collett are okay. And then we got a tremendous finish, Corey. Mahuna for Damien Lane, and Michael Freedman holds off Woden and Tempted.
Yeah, I say luck in running plays a massive part in racing, and he just got all the luck there on the weekend. Or she did, sorry. I thought Woden was home when he come off her back, and
did she dig deep and hold him?
I think she actually, she wasn't pulling away from them, but yeah, she definitely found that little bit extra running through the line. She was probably stronger than the other two running through the line. So
Tempted was great. Rivellino had no luck finishing.
Rivellino, she was slow away. He was slow away. Had to weave his way through. If Huey had his time again, I reckon he would have just hugged the fence and just stayed with him. But good run.
Exactly. Here's the Galaxy, the last of the 5 Group 1s, and Private Harry, the unbeaten colt, gives Nathan Doyle, trainer, and jockey Ash Morgan their first Group 1 story of the day, I thought.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. You just took the words out of my mouth, Ray. This is the story of the day for me. Young jockey, well, he's not that young, but hasn't had a Group 1 winner before. Nathan Doyle, sky's the limit for him as a trainer. I've really been watching him closely the last, 12 months, 2 years, and he's been going great guns. He places his horses really well. He knows where they're at. And it was just great to see him get to the Group 1 circle.
That Briassa's run the grey out wide.
Mate.
Gee, the barrier really
He
cost
defied
him.
oh yeah.
End of story.
Another day.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the Group 1 in Melbourne, the William Reid. Schwartz, we know he loves the Valley, and I know it did favour leaders, but you make your own luck in these big races.
Yeah, 100%, Ray, and that's the style of horse he is. He gets up on speed, makes his own luck. It did favour hard fence on speed, but yeah, terrific win.
And let's go to Hong Kong, Corey, for the Hong Kong Derby. And, well, Snitzel the sire had a great weekend. He sired the Golden Super winner. He sired the Hong Kong Derby winner, I think it's pronounced Cap Farrar, under Craig Williams. That's the biggest race in Hong Kong, Corey?
Biggest race in Hong Kong, and that's the one they all want to win because they're all basically, well, they're all Hong Kong horses.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so prestige to win it there. And they pay big money for them. And, it was a good win.
Well, Corey, let's go from Hong Kong back to Rose Hill and Golden Super Day. And the winning Golden Super trainer, Michael Freedman, joins us on This Week, Next Week. Michael, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ray. Evening, Corey.
Thanks for joining us, Michael. Congratulations. Mahuna was just outstanding last Saturday. How has she pulled up, and what are your plans going forward with the superstar filly?
Oh, look, she's pulled up really well, albeit she is quite shin sore, which, whilst it's a little disappointing that we'll now pull up stumps, I'm a little bit relieved as well because I think given what she's managed to achieve in a very short space of time and the fact that she is quite shin sore, sort of adds merit to the win. So she'll go off to the paddock now, have a nice 6 or 8 weeks off, and then we'll get her back in through the back end of the winter and hopefully have a really nice filly for the spring.
You were obviously unlucky a couple of years ago with Manal. Stepped out this year. What I want to ask, how did it feel that week, like not knowing that you're in, only getting in like the 11th hour? But how was that week? Were you under more pressure wanting to get the horse in the race, or was it sort of like a relaxed week because she wasn't in there until,
Yeah, no, I'd say, Corey, it's exactly the latter, I think because we, right up until, pretty much Tuesday morning sort of thought, well, we're probably 50-50 of making the race. But I said to Brian Carlson, look, we may as well just keep pressing on as though we are running. If we miss a start, then we can sort of go back to plan B, which would be to freshen up and have a crack at the Percy Sykes or something like that. But I said I'm going to train her as though she is running. So we just sort of drove on. But, yeah, I was pretty relaxed right through. Once, Ben Duckworth, my foreman, went out and drew a good marble on Tuesday morning and rang me a very relieved young man. I thought, okay, well, we've drawn a good alley this year as opposed to obviously Manali the year before. So I was relatively relaxed. I was probably only starting to get a bit wound up when my co-trainers in the tower started winding me up Saturday morning declaring it, and there's nothing worse than having all your mates out in the tower sort of wanting to get under your skin a bit and tip your horse. But as it turned out, for once in their lives, they were all right.
She's a special filly, Michael, for a number of reasons. Obviously, to win a Golden Super is no mean feat, but she's managed to achieve it at just her 3rd start. And you go back through the history of the Golden Super, it's only ever been done once before, and that was by Toy Show 50 years ago. So what makes this filly so good?
I think just apart from anything else, just her sheer toughness. It's obviously been documented that when she won her first start at Canterbury at that night meeting on the 7th of Feb, she pulled 2 shoes off, one front shoe and one hind shoe, and the front shoe she pulled off a decent amount of foot with it. I'm not exactly sure what part of the race it was, but it certainly wasn't sort of after the winning post. So she's sort of toughed it out to the line in that race, and did pull up quite sore afterwards. So at that point for the next few days, we thought, okay, well, we're probably potentially looking at going to the paddock. But to his great credit, Scott Bryce, who's my farrier, just did an amazing job with her. he said, "No, mate, we'll be right. We'll get that foot sorted out over the next couple of days, and she'll be as sound as a pound." And he was absolutely spot on. So, full credit to Scott, because I don't think without his expertise, we probably would have quite easily been back in the paddock.
How often, though, Michael, you've drawn soft, you ended up with a great rider on board, but plan A not very often goes to plan in big races like the Golden Slipper, but everything just, it was like you couldn't have hoped for it to be any better.
No, 100%, Corey. I mean, Damien and I had a really good chat Saturday morning, and I said, "No doubt you've sort of had a good look at the race and all that." And he said, "Yep." He said, "Tell me what you think." He said, "I want to be positive out of the gates because I know she can jump well." He said, "I want to cross 3 or 4 of them that have drawn inside me that may not have quite as sort of early tactical speed." He said, "I want to find the fence, then let the speed come from out wide." And he said, "Ideally, I'd love to be sort of 4th, 5th the fence or 6th the fence. Give her every hope from there." And as you rightly said, and just watching the replay here, I mean, it was absolutely perfectly went to script, and that is a bit of a rarity sometimes in these big 2-year-old races.
Yeah, and she showed a bit of G&D, didn't she, to take that gap as well, Michael? And so she's...
When Wotan came, I thought Wotan sort of had her, and she dug deep. Down another, dug deep.
She gets down low in her action too, doesn't she, Michael?
If you sort of look back on I felt looking back on the run in the Riesling, it was a little bit the same. She sort of dashed to the front in that race, and Jason made the comment that she just got a bit lost. And then when Tempted came to her, she sort of went again, and then probably on the line, she was going nearly as strongly as Tempted on the line. So she's just got a fantastic will to win for a very inexperienced filly. She's just got that grit and determination that I guess sometimes can sort the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, certainly has with her outstanding performance. She goes to the paddock now, as you said, Michael. What about the spring, and where do you think her best distance will be? And given that she's won a Golden Super, everyone's going to be asking one question. The word starts with an E, a race called the Everest. Is that a chance?
Oh, I wouldn't be a commercial trainer if I wasn't putting my hand up to have a runner in the Everest. Look, anything and everything would be on the table with her, obviously. She's got a great opportunity now to have a really nice break. I'd say she could have at least 6, maybe even 8 weeks if we decide to. And then just give her a nice sort of steady build up through the back end of winter and have her ready for any of those sort of fillies races. I think she's got the potential to stretch to at least 14, maybe even a mile as a 3-year-old. She's still, when you look at her physically, she's still a little bit downhill. She hasn't really fully come up in front yet. So, I'll be so excited to sort of see how she does over the next 6 or 8 weeks having that break, and see what she comes back like. She's certainly a really powerfully built filly, but she's probably still got a little bit more to go growth-wise.
Michael, what about Manal? First up, I thought very disappointing. Second up was absolutely super. Going back to normal?
Yeah, look, Corey, it's just been so frustrating with her. I agree with you 100%. I was a bit disappointed with her first up run. She pulled up with a little bit of an inflamed throat after that, which has been going around a little bit lately for some reason in quite a few of the stables. But I thought a second up run in the Surround, where again from a horrible barrier, she was sort of 4 wide with no cover, stuck it out really well. And then in the Coolmore, last weekend, unfortunately, she was just going to be posted 4 deep again, so Rachel sort of elected to go to the front, which is not her racing style. No fault of Rachel's. It was just, again, victim of bad barrier, but she gave a great kick at the top of the straight, and I thought halfway up the straight, though, she might take a bit of catching, but I just think the extra work she had to do in the first half just told that little bit late. So in terms of where she's at, I think she's going as well as ever, but she's just had terrible luck with barriers and tough runs in races. So had a good chat to Hussein Lutar last night about where we do go with her. And at this stage, I think the plan will be to give her a little freshen up and then maybe target some Brisbane racing with her. I'd love to see her in a race like the Stradbroke, sort of 1400 under handicap conditions in a high pressure race like that. I think she'd love it, and she'd probably love Eagle Farm. So that would be one option, and then maybe a Tats Tiara or something like that. So she'll probably have a couple of weeks off now. She'll go down to the paddock with Mahuna tomorrow and get her back in and target a few of those Brisbane races with her.
Fair enough. What about Enriched, Michael? He was good again on Saturday. Unfortunately, bumped into a very, very good filly in Autumn Glow, but he's having a great autumn, and hopefully there's another stakes race win in him at some stage over the Autumn Carnival.
Yeah, you hope so, right? I mean, look, I was ecstatic with his run there Saturday, and it's certainly no disgrace to get beaten by a filly of that quality. And for a fleeting moment, halfway up the straight, when Tommy sort of cruised up outside the leader and he hadn't moved, I thought, oh, hang on, we might have this filly on toast today, because I could see James getting sort of busy on her, but she's obviously an outstanding filly, and as I said, it was no disgrace to run second to her, but I think he's a high quality colt. I've always had a good opinion of him. It's probably taken him until now to sort of really put things together. But I believe there's a good race in him. We'll probably head to the Arrowfield and have a shot there. I guess we'll probably run into Autumn Glow there again. But we'll certainly have a crack at that. But I think there's definitely a good race in him, and still being a colt and the son of I'm Invincible, out of a half sister to Winks, he's got a seriously good page, and maybe one day could find himself at stud.
I reckon, Michael, tell me if I'm wrong, but first up he looked like he had massive amount of improvement left in him. Second up he still looked like he wasn't quite cherry ripe, but I reckon he'll be bang on next time out.
Yeah, Corey, he's a big gross horse, as you would see in the yard. I mean, he's a big lad, and he had a good spell, so it's probably taken him 2 or 3 runs to sort of really get to peak fitness, but I think he's there now. Whether that's going to be enough to sort of be able to turn the tables on a quality filly like Autumn Glow remains to be seen. But as I said, if it's not that race, I really feel confident that there's a good race in him somewhere.
But this weekend, Michael, I see you've got Ducasse entered or nominated for the Ajax Stakes. Doncaster Prelude, sorry. He was good in the Ajax Stakes last start. He's working his way back to top form?
I think so. Look, it was obviously he was very good first up, Ray, in that 1400, and then maybe on face value initially I was a touch disappointed with his run second up, but talking to Tim, he just said that stage of the day on that track, he said the leaders just kept going, and he said they were really on their bikes at the 600, and he said it just got him out of his comfort zone a bit. But watching back the replay a few times, I thought probably the last 100 to maybe even 50 metres of his race was good and through the line. I think he's really come on well from that run. I certainly can't fault him. I'd say at this stage he'd take his place on Saturday, and look, we can dream a little. I think if we could get him somehow into a Doncaster with no weight on his back, and if we got a bit of rain around, which we can sometimes get at this time of year in Sydney, that wouldn't hurt his chances either. But he's come back an improved article as a gelding, and again, I think there's a nice race in him somewhere.
Has he ever been a blinkers horse, Michael? Because through the line, he was as strong as ever, like through the line there. He just looked like he'd benefit from a set of blinkers. Yeah,
I might take your advice on that, mate, and put him on him. I think I did have a set on him. I did have a set on him early in the piece when he was a colt, but he probably hasn't had them on for a little while, and that is something, after I watched that replay the other day, thought might be worth a try. Yeah. So you may even get your wish and see him in them on Saturday.
You can send Michael the invoice for the advice. Yeah, what about
co-trainer?
Exactly. What about Give Me the Beat Boys and Insurrection, Michael, nominated for the Star Kingdom Stakes? We see them Saturday?
Yeah, I think we'll see both of them. Insurrection, we probably made a little blue, riding him the way we ended up riding him the other day, where we just thought there was so much speed on paper, and he'd drawn out wide with 58.5 on his back. Tommy and I discussed just maybe riding him a little more conservative, but I think, he's a jump and run type of horse, and we probably won't make that error again. So I'm happy enough with him, and I think, off his Rubiton run first up after a long break, he had it was just a forget run in the sprint race down in Melbourne, and the other day I was happy enough. They ran home in 33 and change, and he was probably, his sectionals were as good as the winners. So he'll take his place. Give Me the Beat Boys. I'm just still trying to learn a bit about this horse. He does have nice ability. He's got good form from Europe, but I tend to think he's probably looking for a track just with a bit of fire out of it. When he came over, they sort of said that he really needed firm ground, but I think the Irish version of firm ground is probably a little different to what we call firm ground.
Exactly. And Michael, what about valedictorian? I think there's something there too with this 2-year-old. He was very good in that competitive Skyline. He ran fourth and after making the play out front. Last start, I think there were genuine excuses in the Pago. Do you go to the Bayou with him?
Yeah, we just had a good chat to James Harron after that. Right, look, it was a bit of a weird one that day. I mean, it was obviously extremely hot, and I think not just him. I think there was quite a few horses may have struggled in that heat that day. Him being one of them. He also gave his head a bit of a whack on the gates before they jumped, and sometimes you always wonder whether maybe it might have just knocked him off his game a little bit. It doesn't take much, but he's had a good week or 10 days since then. Physically, I can't fault the horse, so we'll certainly have a good look at the Bayou on Saturday as a possibility. If not, then there's a midweek race that we could probably go to the week after as a backup plan. But he's a talented horse, and I was very happy with his first up run, obviously. But it was a little bit of a head scratcher second up, but he seems in good order, so hopefully we can get him back on track.
Fantastic. Look, Michael, I know you've had to do the media rounds post the Golden Slipper, but I guess that comes with the territory as the winning trainer. Congratulations, your second Golden Slipper in just 4 years, and we won't see Mahuna again for the autumn, but looking forward to seeing her in spring, and the very best of luck for the stable right through the Autumn Carnival.
Thanks, Ray. Much appreciated. Thanks, Corey.
Cheers, bud.
There's Michael Freedman. That's the 6th win for the family in this race. I know you've ridden for them. You were stable rider for Lee down at Mornington for a number of years. What is it about their 2-year-olds? Why do they get it so right, Corey?
Ray, it's hard to pinpoint why they get it so right, but even when I went to ride for them in Melbourne, they had a separate 2-year-old stable, Denniston Park, and it was exciting going through them and picking the eyes out of them, and but they're just freaks. Yeah. Every one of them. They're great trainers.
Exactly, and great to see Michael Freedman win another Golden Slipper with Mahuna on Saturday. Let's look ahead to this Saturday. One of the Group 1s is the Vinery Stud Stakes, and in 2019, a filly won the first of 11 Group 1s. Her name was Very Elegant.
Elegant's coming right down the middle of the track, putting in big strides. It's Seabrook being tackled now by Very Elegant. They beat off Aristia, and then came Frankly Awesome at the 150. It's Very Elegant 2 lengths clear of Frankly Awesome, really knuckling to the task late. Very Elegant in front on jelly legs, but she's got the Vinery Stud Stakes won. It's Very Elegant, a length and a half to Frankly Awesome.
Welcome back to the show. Tancred Stakes and Vinery Stud Stakes this weekend at Rosehill, and Tab's Tim Ryan is in the studio to give us all the latest betting. Tim, good evening.
Good evening, Ray. Yeah, another 2 big Group 1s on Saturday. The Tancred will kick off with that, and it looks a really strong edition of the race. I can't split Dubai Honour and Vauban at the top of betting. Not much between them hold-wise either. They're $3.50 each at 2. Arapaho, he's there as a $6 chance. A firm this morning for Duke de Sessa, 8 to 6, and big interest in River of Stars. An import for Yulong has seen support over the last week or so. The Vinery Stud Stakes, probably only a small field expected here. Treasure the Moment, over 80% of the prenoms hold for her. She's a $1.50 chance. Waller has 3 gallopers there. Declici Boulevard rated the shortest of them as a $6 chance. Moving out, also seeing a little bit of support at $8. Moving on to the championships, and what a race this is going to be. $6 equal favourites at the top. Gringotts a firm after Saturday with linebacker there. There has been some support too for Moira, Zach Burton booked to ride, the Canadian import. She's an $11 chance there, and Swift Falcon a firm on Saturday, but we'll need luck to sneak into the field for the Doncaster Mile. Moving on to the TJ Smith Stakes, Jolly Star's favourite, Private Harry and Briasa both firmed on Saturday after great runs in the Galaxy. They'll have to take that form to Wait for Age in the TJ Smith Stakes. Moving further afield to the Australian Derby, and Willie Dewitt still the $3.50 favourite, but big firms for Aliana and Shanwa, who were great runs there on Saturday. We'll see a few of the few more of the 3-year-olds on Saturday in the Tulloch. The Queen Elizabeth Stakes and Via Sistina into 175. Kale Wolf, a solid $6 second pick there, and Pride of Jenny also still seeing plenty of support as an $8 chance.
Which horse are you taking on this weekend, Tim?
Yeah, look, she'll probably win on Saturday, Treasure the Moment, but I think she's rock bottom at $1.50. She's got to bring that Melbourne form to Sydney, and she's got to face our best up here. So I just think at the real shorts, she might be just a little bit of a risk.
She's going for 7 in a row. She's a pretty special filly, Treasure the Moment, and be interested to see how she goes against the Sydney fillies this weekend. Let's look ahead for the rest of the week leading into Rosehill Gardens. Tomorrow we're racing at Taree. On Wednesday back at the Kensington meeting. On Thursday we're racing at Gosford. Friday is Muswellbrook and Wellington. Come Saturday, back to Rosehill Gardens for Tancred Stakes and Vinery Stud Stakes, an important provincial midway qualifier at Wyong. On Sunday, Wellington Cup, and also racing at Wagga. Another great meeting coming up. Corey, what are you looking forward to, mate?
I'm looking forward to Treasure the Moment.
I did struggle, didn't I?
You love it.
Oh, it's going bad. For me, I think Arapaho could potentially win his second Tancred Stakes. On behalf of Corey, Bran and I, thanks for watching this week. Next week, we'll see you next Monday.